This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with Matchmaking in Marbella.
This is like Groundhog Day when we did it when I was young and fresh. Do you remember?
Yep.
Day in the life of Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, that's before we really knew anything about you.
I didn't know anything. Well, I didn't know anything about anything then. Just blagging it. Still blagging it, really. But
it was after you'd done the prize fighter.
Oh, we just signed Barker, I think, haven't we? Because we went to see him in the gym.
Yeah, we did. Bit of a low-key press conference today, as in terms.
You say low-key.
No, when I say low-key, you know,
you mean no one nutted anyone?
Yeah.
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 But
it was very well done at Sky, I will say.
Yeah, it was very. I mean, a key word here is corporate. Now, corporate for you is no good, right? Corporate for you is disastrous, right?
It was very PC as well.
It was very corporate because we're turning boxing corporate. And you might not want to hear that, but it's important for the sport. It's how you attract new blue chip brands into the game. It's how you turn small hall shows into big arena shows. It's how you attract the media. It's how you attract different kind of media. And sometimes that's an important job of a promoter, to turn the sport a little bit corporate. Don't lose its rawness, don't lose its edge. But today was very important in that respect.
But Needle sells, didn't it?
Needle sells. Anthony Joshua sells. You know, we see the numbers, the tracking numbers, and it's huge every time. So AJ's going to be AJ. He's not going to, you know, I couldn't say to AJ, go and drop the nut on Brazil. He wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Go and drop the nut on him.
Yeah, but he wouldn't do it. He's just going to be himself. So yeah, I'm sorry no one chased anyone or swore or talked about all things they shouldn't, but it was PC, it was solid, and it was slick.
It was actually, they put it together very well actually.
Well, because it's a high quality operation. You're dealing with Matchroom and you're dealing with Sky. It's a fantastic partnership. And again, I say again, there's loads of haters for Sky, there's loads of haters for Matchroom. Don't worry about Matchroom, don't worry about me. Sky are the only players, the only broadcasters that have consistently backed boxing over the years. So without them, the sport would be dead. And you know, and you know, when we laughed the other day, we've changed the game and you've changed the game. Sky have helped change the game, and they're at the forefront of it. You see by what they did today, it's on another level. Sky just, you know, you've got to have Sky, haven't you? Imagine life without Sky. Sky's the daddy. You know, Sky goes up to you and does that thing when they go around your face, and then might pull your pants down, give you a little spank, and say, "Off you go, son." That's what Sky does to the other broadcasters. They're the daddy.
You're talking about as in references?
In general. Imagine not having Sky.
That would be painful.
Exactly. So you have to give them the credit, and you especially have to give them the credit when they're supporting your sport. They're so important to the survival of sports.
So what if you quit tomorrow?
Quit what?
Quit boxing.
If I quit boxing?
Yeah, what
happens? But Matchroom is not just me, is it? I mean, if I turn around tomorrow and said, right, I'm off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going on holiday with Coogie Bear. I'm going to buy him as many Malibu and pineapples as he likes. But we have 5 years left on our agreement, our exclusive agreement, and that will probably get renewed in 2 or 3 years. So I don't. You know, I always say to you, you can become bitter in this sport, and I don't want to be a miserable, bitter bastard, because there's so many miserable, bitter bastards in this sport, and life's not about that. You can't let your job turn you into a different person, and a person that really is no good for anyone. And this sport can do it. Can get you down, can get you miserable, can get you frustrated, can make you skin. And you can't let any of that happen. So at the moment we're buzzing. Every day I wake up, I just want to provide great fights for my fighters. I want to dominate the industry for our business, and that's what drives me on. And whilst I feel like that, then I will remain. But if I turn around tomorrow and said, right, I'm out of boxing, boxing carries on. It's not, you know, just if I left the game, don't mean the sport dies. The sport's been around for years and years. The sport's much bigger than me.
Is it?
It's close. No, but it is, isn't it? I mean, look, and I always say and I always joke, at the moment we're hot, etc., etc. But boxing's been around for years. There's been other promoters that have dominated and then either disappeared or given up or been overtaken, or. But that's why you mustn't get complacent.
So, is it a minority or a majority that don't like you? Is it? What is it? It is. I suppose it is a minority compared to how many people there are in the world. So, right? So.
I think,
have you got any intentions of sort of
becoming liked?
No, it's not about being liked. It's about maybe.
Do you know what? When
listening
it's funny because when we did Quig Frampton, obviously I gave that interview in the ring after Ryan Burnett, and the Irish fans booed me, right? But then when I went to Ricky Burns' fight the other week and he won the world title, I came on the mic and they booed me again. And I was like, mate, I've knocked my cods out to bring this show back to Glasgow for you. And I phoned up old man, I went, God, do you hear they booed me? He went, yeah, it's great, isn't it? I said, what do you mean? He went, you've proper cracked it when they start booing you. He said, they boo me on the darts non-stop. So, yeah, I'm pretty unpopular. I think...
You are and you're not. I think it's not like...
what you see on TV or with you... Obviously, it's me, but is that the real me? Like, you know me.
Yeah,
so,
I'd say your persona on the camera is maybe an 80% version of you.
Really? Oh, I was hoping you'd say less, because then I could pretend that I was actually all right.
No, but you are like that anyway, aren't you? I think.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I think if I film some of the stuff that you come out with,
if I was a boxing fan, I would probably say, do you know what? Fair play. He's mixed it up, but he's a knob. I probably think I was a bit of a knob. But I'm not hurting anyone.
no.
Just out grafting.
But I think the people that do probably dislike you.
You know, when you get a position of power or dominance, not bigging myself up, you become disliked. When you're starting out, you know, when I started doing a few shows, people going, so refreshing, new face of boxing, and then once you get to the top, that's it, you know. But I guess it comes with it, doesn't it? I'd love to be loved. And that, to be fair, one of the nicest things is when you do a good show, which obviously is very rare for me these days, and people say, do you know what, that was the nuts, what a night I had there. That, mate, that's for me. That's about as good as it gets.
So the main gripes with you is that it's perceived...
Is this an interview or a counselling session?
No, it's a bit of both. It's perceived that you don't put on 50-50 fights, like across the board.
Yeah.
And also the pay-per-view thing is an aspect.
Yeah.
And you, on occasion, maybe not delivering some fights.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you're all right.
Yeah, generally I'm buzzing.
You're all right.
But there's reasons behind everything. So you're never going to get all 50-50 fights. Some fighters are at different stages in their career. Some fighters are coming back from injury. Some fighters are coming off a loss. Of course, all fans would love to see 50-50 fights across the card. You know, people will go to me, oh, look at this 8-rounder. The guy's like 20-1 on. It's like, it's an 8-rounder. He's ticking over. What is he doing?
All right, let me give you an example. There's a lot of people that think that Brazil is a joke of an opponent for Joshua.
But they're the people who just want to find negativity. You've got to find someone in the IBF top 15 to fight. Dominic Breazeale is a good heavyweight. He's 17-0. He's 15 knockouts. He's ranked number 15. It's AJ's first defence. He's bang on. And anyone who is sensible, has got common sense, would say, no, he's a fair opponent. People that want to pick holes in anything. It's so boring listening to people with a negative lifestyle who just moan. moan. It's not just moaning about boxing, it's moaning about the weather, it's moaning about the job, it's moaning about the football, it's moaning about the politics. Fucking get off your arse, start being a bit positive, and then all of a sudden you might actually achieve something. Because people make me laugh. People sit on Twitter all day moaning. Put your energy into something productive. People, it's the one thing about this country I dislike is people moan, and I'm probably a on certain things. Just you've got to be a half glass full guy, not a half glass empty.
So
you can add that to the David Brent video.
no, that's staying as it is for the moment. The pay-per-view thing. Do you know what? I have to admit, it is kind of boring now. It's like,
but
I'm not
again,
buying
like
this.
the brutal responses, and again, we talk about corporate and PC. The brutal responses, don't buy it. If you don't want to spend the same as going out for a couple of coffees on a night's entertainment of boxing, watching, in my opinion, the best heavyweight in the world fight, and one of the domestic fights of the year, and Eubank, and Dylan White, etc., don't buy it. I can't force you to buy it. And the answer is, well, I want to watch it, but I don't want to pay for it. I can't make it happen without it. You live in a world where fighters have expectations, markets dictate purses and prices, and it's not possible. You know, it's like Eubank Golovkin, it's like Brooke Vargas. Do you honestly think, you know, like if without pay-per-view, the most I could pay Brooke Vargas is a couple of $100,000 each? Do you think they're going to put their world championships on the line at £147 for that sort of money? No. So what's the alternative? Tell me the alternative.
Don't put the fights on.
Well, that's productive, isn't it? Yeah, I know, but that is the alternative.
Well,
so, no, we'd rather, you know, we don't want that. And people say, yeah, well, AJ, you know, he hasn't got to be pay-per-view because he's owned, you know, he has. Because he's earned a lot of money. He's a heavyweight champion of the world. And there is a market value, and we have to achieve that in order to make things happen. And this model is the only way that happens.
What about this whole thing of you selling it, the pay-per-view show, as a card rather than a main event?
I do that because I want to provide value. And I don't think that it's necessarily right to hinge a pay-per-view on someone like Anthony Joshua who can knock anyone out in any round. So with that, you have to protect the longevity of pay-per-view as well. It's so integral to our business, to the sport of boxing, and to the future of boxing. And you'll see that in the new season. The rights fees have gone up. I can put on bigger fights, better fights, and you'll see that. Crolla Linares is a great example of that. I could never have made that fight with the old school system. So in terms of the card, I do that because with Groves Murray, with Eubank Doran, it's a night of entertainment. I don't believe that a pay-per-view should be built among one particular fight. And you know, one of the problems with the Frampton Quigg fight is they didn't want to put a huge undercard on. They didn't want to spend the money. So you can't, you know, all of a sudden, and then the main event's average, and everyone says, you know what, that was shit. But like, you look at Brooke Gavin, that wasn't a great fight, was it? That was headline of May the 30th. But because the undercard was so strong, and people loved the fights, everyone turned around and said, what a night of boxing. So the key is to produce a pay-per-view that people turn around at the end of it and say, $16.95, got me money's worth. And when you don't, it affects the future, and that's why you have to protect it by putting on solid cards and big cards. Groves Murray, I mean, it's not a cheap fight to put on. But I feel like Groves Murray will solidify this card this night, and it will give you value for money, regardless of what happens in the main event.
So would you say that a main event pay-per-view, the last one you've done, that everyone was sort of satisfied before and after the event, was probably Fox Groves too?
No, I think, well, Quigg Frampton, I think no one moaned about Quigg Frampton being a pay-per-view. A few people said the undercard wasn't strong enough, but because that was a bigger main event, you know, the dynamics are a little bit different.
But the fight did disappoint.
It did, yeah.
But so I'm saying, for before and after.
I think December 12th was one we didn't get one complaint about. White Joshua.
Yeah.
Well, post.
Right.
You know, I think April 9 we didn't really get many complaints about. Even actually before and after, because it was a World Heavyweight title challenge. Frampton Quig, no complaints before, but people weren't satisfied with the main event, quite rightly so. Bellew Cleverly, we got stick before and after. Froch Grove, never. May the 30th, which was Brooke Gavin, we got a lot of stick for. Not as much as Bellew Cleverly, but everyone loved Rule Britannia. The most stick I've ever got for a pay-per-view, well, other than Hay Harrison, but I didn't promote that one, was Bellew Cleverly. We announced that fight, and I remember we did 2 press conferences, do you remember?
Yeah.
One in Liverpool, one in Cardiff in the same day.
Yeah.
And I announced that fight in Liverpool on pay-per-view, and I honestly thought by the time I got to Cardiff, I'm going to have to pull this off pay-per-view. The response was that bad, and do you know what? That particular fight and that show did more pay-per-views than Quig Frampton, you know, than Rule Britannia, and it's just a weird thing.
So again, with the pay-per-view.
You know, this is a very long question for something you said was very boring now.
Yeah, but it is boring because I keep seeing every time, blah blah blah. Ask Eddie Hearn about the pay-per-view. Ask it.
But it's boring. But you've asked me about 8 questions.
No, but I'm just trying to pick up on points that people say. So, sports fans will pay a subscription to Sky Sports.
Yeah.
So for the boxing that they get, and I don't. It is a minority.
Don't subscribe to boxing.
No, but there is probably a minority.
Boxing.
No, but there is probably a minority that do.
Yeah, maybe a very small.
I mean,
minority,
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. But
of course you don't. You subscribe for the football.
No.
And the boxing's an added bonus, as is the darts, as is the rugby, as is the tennis,
right,
as is the cricket, as is the golf.
So, for someone who was subscribing to Sky Sports for the boxing, do you believe that you provide, like on behalf of Matchroom, sort of sufficient value for money?
I think we provide the best domestic boxing in the UK by a country mile, and the best stable of fighters in the UK by a country mile.
So why are they moaning then?
They're not. Very few people are moaning that they don't get. I mean, you're talking about, I don't know, like 100 people, especially about 50 helmets that tweet me all day, every day. Hearn, you're this, Hearn, you're that. Okay, and I'm like, what do you actually? Some people, I wonder what they do. If they're tweeting while they're at work, I've got to let their employee know, because they must be doing nothing. But yeah, we provide the best domestic fights. We provide the best domestic stable by a mile. Tell me someone else who's putting on domestic shows that are any good. No one.
I think another problem was like some of the cards when like a week ago. We've been over this anyway, but the whole TBA thing.
It's never been done before, is it?
I was just voicing. I just don't. You know what? I love boxing, but even if I wasn't doing this, and I am a little bit, I'm not going to sit here and absolutely thingy you off for whatever. I'll ask
Thingy me off.
Yeah, I was going to use the C word, but then I thought, no, I'm not going to use that word. But even if I wasn't, and I was just a boxing fan, I don't think I'd be that, like, to tweet you every day, basically saying.
It's mental. There isn't many, there's only like a dozen. But man, they're sad motherfuckers. I mean, look, it's great to be passionate about sport, but, you know, some people are obsessed.
But you got to take it.
It comes with it, doesn't it? I mean, the only thing that's a bit annoying is you can't really tweet about other stuff, because you just get the morons reply like, you know, I mean, I tweeted about even about that MP who died, and people were replying with idiotic comments. Or I tweet about the football, and it's like, what do you know about the football? Fuck off, stick to pay-per-view. It's a shame, because I quite like to interact with people about other stuff, and in the end you think Twitter's what, you know, Twitter becomes a tool rather than a social thing that it could be.
I've noticed another thing that certain people do as well. I haven't noticed it, they've been doing it for a while. So someone
don't.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I find it find it so pathetic.
What was I going to say?
You're going to say, someone will tweet and go, can't wait for the boxing this Saturday, I'm so excited about this show. People watch what people tweet me, and then they screenshot it and send it to their mates going, can you believe what this guy, this casual, has said to Hearn? Oh, let's tweet him. And it's like, mate, you're such a prick. We saw what you tweeted to. Fucking hell, get a life. My God. You know, and these people who are tweeting that, have you seen the state of them? Like, they've got nothing going for them. But the best thing they want to do is screenshot tweets from other people and start going, you're such a casual. You know, us hardcores know what's what. Fuck off, hardcore, casual. It's just called a fan. Do you know what I mean? It fucking does my nutting.
I was going to say that.
Bellends.
But it's like, yeah, they'll retweet it and then everyone will start slagging them off.
I've had people tweet me going, mate, all I said was, you know, Eubank, Ben, Groves, Murray, Dylan White, Connor, you know, I can't wait. And then there's like this group of morons going, oh mate, you're so sad tweeting Hearn there. It's like, mate, I'm just saying I'm looking forward to the show. No, you're such a casual wanker. There's people who've started like Twitter accounts like casual wankers, and they just try and find people. How pathetic. What about turn people off the sport? You know what I mean? Like you're a fan, and you tweet that, and then you've got all these nutters. You just think, do you know what? I think I'll drop the boxing out. Helmets.
Tomorrow, Wayne.
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
We're not weighing in, are we? I hope not.
Hope not. 1 o'clock, open to the public, Covent Garden.
Yeah, the piazza, the big square there. It's going to be busy. Again, just pushing the boundaries, trying something different. Nice open weighing in the West End.
Why have you dropped the fan zone thing out?
Because you can't really do it in that area because it's a council area, so you have to have it and man it, and it's not easy.
Quite like the fan zone things.
Well, why? You've queued up, have you, and had a photo?
No, but it's just good. I just,
Yeah.
a few of the boxes there.
Yeah, it's good. I think we need to get back involved with it, but in certain places it works, certain places it doesn't. You know, like we didn't do one at the last O2 weighing because it's just a massive area.
Yeah.
But when we did it in the Indigo, we had it upstairs on that walkway. No, remember?
Yeah. Do you not think the weigh-ins at the O2 are better in the Indigo or not?
Yes,
They are.
definitely.
They are.
Definitely. That's why we had a choice to go to that big space again, but you just don't get the atmosphere. It's like a massive hole, isn't it?
Right, okay, have you got anything else you'd like to add or get off your chest, or just say in general?
No, do you know, it's got nothing to do with me. But again, I'll say it as a fan. I was disappointed with the Canelo stuff with Golovkin. Like, did you see the stuff? So they basically said Golden Boy and K2 met, and they've had a great meeting and decided to do Canelo Golovkin in fall 2017. That's like over a year. And I just think it's a get out. It's just like, you know, I think Canelo's going to fight Liam Smith, and there's going to be massive uproar about that, even though it's a great opportunity for Liam. But why arrange a fight for 3 or 4 fights time? And he's only done it to try and get some credibility. He should be taking that fight now. He's had, and people will probably say, oh yeah, right, Hearn, like you'd make that fight. When you've had Mayweather, Khan, and a series of other pay-per-view fights, when a fight like this comes, it's time to gamble, it's time to find out. But they don't want to gamble, they just want easy fights. And I find it bizarre that they've come out with that statement that the fight's going to, you know, happen in over a year's time. It's nothing for the fans to get excited
and
about.
also a lot can happen at the time. Alright, well, keep us posted when you make Golovkin Eubank.
Like I said, if everybody wants that fight will happen. Can't put it any clearer than that. I've done my job.
Okay.
So, if Golovkin wants to fight and everything they've told me tells me they do, if Eubank wants to fight and everything they've told me tells me they do, that fight will happen in London in the fall.
This fall?
2016. That's the difference. Imagine like Archie said, I had a good meeting with Amir Khan and we've decided that we're doing Brook Khan in December 2017. But we're all going to have 4 fights in the meantime, so don't worry.
Alright, Eddie.
What do you think on the old football? Disappointingly, you haven't got a clue about the tournament.
No, do you know what? I'm going to be blatantly honest. I haven't been watching a lot of it. I've watched England games, I've watched like our group games, and I've watched Ireland.
I think we're about to explode in the tournament.
They're so hit and miss though. It could be on their day. They could beat anyone in that tournament.
But could they? Because they're not putting a ball in the net.
No, but they could.
Yeah, but it's all got. It's like.
There's no.
Look at Wales. The amount of goals they scored.
I know. Yeah.
Compared to us.
But at the same time, they could slip up against any team.
Who, Wales or us?
No, us.
Yeah.
So
I think we're going to explode in this tournament. We've got a horrible side of the draw, but I think we're going to smash Iceland. I think we've got a real chance. I just think the fighters have got to show some cojones. I mean, the players, and they're young enough and fresh enough to do it. Don't play with no. You have to play with no fear. You know why? Because they're afraid of the things that I talked about earlier. Moaning. Every time they get the ball, they make a mistake, they're going to get shouted at and moaned at by the public. I reckon if we're all a bit more positive. You know, that's one thing about some of the smaller countries, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. You know, like the Irish, and even now the Welsh, although I don't believe the Welsh are actually as bothered about their football as they're now making out. But anyway, the Irish is a good example. They're so positive about the players, and they don't achieve much as a football team, do they? And again, that's not meant disrespectfully, but I think that Ireland are achieving what they're achieving because of their fans out there, and because of the feel-good factor. Karma, like, you know, I just think when there's that feel-good factor, when everyone's pulling together, rather than someone gives away a free kick, you are shit. That's what British fans are like, isn't it? Rooney, you are shit. You don't see the Irish go, fucking whoever. They'll go, come on, son, let's go again. That was my accent, by the way. You know? I hope people agree with me.
Okay.
In or out?
Oh no, I don't. I'm not going to love this.
Ruffle some feathers on that one.
Well, you say. I'm going to love this conversation.
Okay.
You can if you want. If you want to give your.
Oh, only if you will.
I just don't want to get into
the bottom line is, if you don't know what's happening in the Euros, you certainly ain't going to know what's happening in the referendum.
It's not. I don't listen. Can I just say something?
Political policies.
Can I say something? I'll lose you for football knowledge, so don't even go there, because you're only taking notice of the Euros because you're worried about clashing with Joshua.
That is true.
Right. Okay.
That's not the only reason I'm watching the Euros, but that was a big concern.
Right. Okay. So, listen, I haven't watched as many games as I want.
No, and by the way, I've got to take that back. On football knowledge, you crush me on Arsenal knowledge.
No, I'd lose you on football. I don't.
Lose you? What is that?
I'd lose
is
you.
That like one of your call words?
No, I'd lose you.
I would lose you on football knowledge, Ed. Like,
Eddie,
I can't even tell you about my football knowledge.
No, but Eddie, it's all jokes aside, yeah, I would lose you, yeah. You want to have a foot off, yeah. I mean, boxing, I expect you to know more than me. You're a fucking promoter, and obviously, you know, you've had a lot of amateur experience. So
if you saw me fight, I've got a tape, you would piss yourself. Do you know how many views that would do if I could find that tape of me, a skinny streak of piss jumping up and down at Billericay Boxing Club? You'd do so many views on that.
Right, listen, this is running out 28 seconds. Do you want to say anything?
No. Covent Garden tomorrow.
Yeah.
Be there. Enjoy the show. Just smile. Be positive. I promise you, if you're a miserable bastard, just give yourself 24 hours to smile, and I promise you your life could change forever.
Eddie Hearn, thanks to All Joyful TV.